Dr. Jaideep Chaudhary and NSS co-coordinator શ્રી દર્શન પુરોહિત. આજના આ ઓરિએન્ટેશન પ્રોગ્રામમાં બિઝનેસ ડેવલપમેન્ટ ફોર IELTS ઇન ધ વેસ્ટ ઇન્ડિયા ના હેડ ઓફ ડિપાર્ટમેન્ટ શ્રી રાજેશ ભોજાણીજી આપણી વચ્ચે મુખ્ય વક્તા તરીકે જોડાયા છે. ભોજાણી સાહેબ, આપનું હાર્દિક સ્વાગત છે વીર નર્મદ દક્ષિણ ગુજરાત યુનિવર્સિટી દ્વારા.
થેન્ક યુ.
આજનો આ વિષય જે છે તે રાષ્ટ્રીય સેવા યોજના વિભાગ દ્વારા આપણે આયોજિત કર્યો છે અને એક એના મનમાં આપણા મનમાં એક હેતુ ક્લિયર હતો કે ભાઈ ઘણા બધા વિદ્યાર્થીઓ IELTS ની એક્ઝામ માટેની પ્રિપેરેશન કરતા હોય છે અને એ પ્રિપેરેશન માટે એને શું કરવું જોઈએ, કઈ પદ્ધતિ અપનાવવી જોઈએ અને એબ્રોડ જવા માટેના જે જુદા જુદા દેશની અંદર કઈ કઈ પદ્ધતિથી કઈ એક્ઝામ લેવાય છે, એમાં ખાસ કરીને IELTS ની જે ડૂઝ એન્ડ ડોઝ ની વાત છે એ શ્રી રાજેશ ભોજાણીજી વાત કરવાના છે. રાજેશ ભોજાણીજીની સાથે ડેવિડ ફ્રાન્સિસ જોડાયા છે, એમનું પણ સ્વાગત છે. અને આજના આ ઉપક્રમમાં IELTS ઓરિએન્ટેશનની અંદર સુરત શહેરની સાથે આખા દક્ષિણ ગુજરાત વિસ્તારની કોલેજોમાં અભ્યાસ કરતા વિદ્યાર્થીઓના મનમાં અનેક એવા પ્રશ્નો છે કે IELTS એક્ઝામ માટે શું કરવું જોઈએ. તો યુનિવર્સિટી આ કોરોના પેન્ડેમિક પીરિયડની અંદર આપના પોતાના સ્થાન ઉપર આપના પોતાના અનુકૂળ સમયમાં આપ નિહાળી શકો છો યુનિવર્સિટીના ફેસબુક, ઇન્સ્ટાગ્રામ, ટ્વિટર, ટેલિગ્રામ ના સોશિયલ નેટવર્કિંગ સાઇટ્સ ઉપર આપણે આ ઓરિએન્ટેશન પ્રોગ્રામમાં જોડાઈ અને એના વિશેની માહિતી મેળવી શકશો. હાલ લાઈવ પ્રોગ્રામ ચાલી રહ્યો છે અને આપણી વચ્ચે મુખ્ય વક્તા તરીકે શ્રી રાજેશ ભોજાણી, હેડ ઓફ ધ બિઝનેસ ડેવલપમેન્ટ ફોર IELTS ઇન વેસ્ટ ઇન્ડિયા, એમને વિનંતી કરીએ કે તેઓ પોતાની વાત કરે. રાજેશભાઈ.
Thank you, Bharatbhai and all the senior officials of Veer Narmad South Gujarat University. It is a pleasure to talk to the students of this esteemed university in South Gujarat. We at British Council, as all of you must be aware, conduct the IELTS exam or IELTS exam. A large number of students from your university and all over South Gujarat have been taking this exam. In fact, Gujarat is our largest, fastest growing market and one of the largest markets. And we conduct the IELTS exam in Gujarat in many cities, including Surat and Navsari, and also Baroda, Anand, Ahmedabad, Mehsana, and Rajkot. So we have seen a huge response to IELTS. And as you are aware, IELTS is something which is virtually essential if you want to go overseas for studies or for work. I will take you through a brief presentation, maybe 30 to 40 minutes, and after that, we will take questions and answer questions on anything related to IELTS. So as you must be aware, IELTS is accepted by more than 10,000 organizations worldwide. This includes 3,000 colleges and universities in USA, almost all the colleges and universities in Canada, UK, and also in New Zealand, Australia, Germany, and so on. It is also accepted by the visa authorities of all the countries. So IELTS is the world's largest English language test. So as many of you might be aware, there are two types of IELTS. One is IELTS Academic and there is IELTS General. So for most of you who are planning to go abroad as students, IELTS Academic is what is relevant. But those who are going overseas for work, particularly for PR, like PR of Canada or Australia or UK, you have to take IELTS General. So the test format is like this. You have listening, reading, writing, and speaking. There are 4 modules. Okay, whether you are taking academic or general, the listening module and speaking module are common. It is the writing and reading which are slightly different. Though the level of difficulty is the same and the number of questions are the same, but there may be slight changes in the questions. But essentially, from a practice viewpoint and preparation viewpoint, academic and general are very, very similar. Okay. So totally the test is for 2 hours and 55 minutes. And the speaking test is not on the same day as the listening, reading, writing. So you may have LRW or listening, reading, writing on one day, and up to a maximum of 7 days prior or 7 days later, you have the speaking test, which is for 11 to 14 minutes. So now let us take a look at the listening section. Okay. So the listening section is in 4 parts. So there are 4 recordings that are played one by one. Each one has 10 questions. Thus, totally there are 40 questions. The speakers in each of these recordings speak in different accents. It is either British or American or Australian, but it is easy to understand. It is not as if these are highly accented like a Hollywood movie or something. You can easily understand those accents, particularly if you are practiced. And the complexity of the questions increases with every passage. So the first recording will have easy questions, and the last one will have the most difficult one. So what is it that the examiners are looking for? It is your understanding of the main ideas and specific information, and recognizing the opinions, attitudes, and the purpose of the speaker, and following the development of the argument, right? So the listening test is for 30 minutes. And after that, you are given 10 minutes to transfer your answers. Okay, so this is for the pen and paper test. As you may be aware, you can take IELTS on computer delivered or on pen and paper. So in pen and paper, you are given 30 minutes is the test, and so also in computer delivered. But the 10 minutes transfer time is slightly less in case of computer delivered, because most of the time you are answering the questions online in any case. Right. So I will take you through a very brief video about listening. Right, here are the tips for listening.
So you've decided to take the IELTS exam. Great choice. It's the test that's tried and trusted throughout the world. The IELTS listening test is designed to assess your ability to understand spoken English. The listening test is the same regardless of whether you're taking the IELTS academic or general training module. These are key details of the IELTS listening test. The paper includes 40 questions spread over 4 sections in 30 minutes. The sections get more difficult as you progress through the test. You will only hear each passage once. It's vital you follow the instructions. For instance, if the question says, write no more than 3 words, any answer with 4 words or more is automatically marked wrong. At the end of the listening, you have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Write your answers carefully. Spelling is important. Capitalization, however, is not. There are no penalties for wrong answers, so attempt all the questions, even if you're not sure of the answer. Here are some tips to help you prepare for the test. You are given time to read the questions ahead of the listening. It's vital you analyze the questions here. Look for key words in the question. Usually the nouns or verbs. Underline or circle them. Make sure you know the type of answers needed. For instance, is it a name, a telephone number, an adjective? Try to predict as much as you can before you listen. Ask yourself, what is the situation? What is the topic? Who might be speaking? What might be the answers? Synonyms are important. There is often a word in a question and a different word with a similar meaning in the listening. Expect tricks. The speaker may try to confuse you. For example, they may give an answer and then change their decision. Also, be wary of negatives. Speakers might sometimes slip the word not into a sentence. Don't choose an answer just because you hear specific words. Consider the overall meaning carefully. Changes in the tone of voice can indicate this. For example, excitement or disappointment. Always have the next question in mind. It's easy to miss several answers if all of your focus is on one question. It's important to practice listening to a range of resources that might include television, films, radio, lectures, or online videos. Aim for a variety of sources of spoken English, particularly different accents. There is no substitute for practice. For more information on IELTS, please see our other videos on speaking, writing, and reading.
Right, so that was all about listening. So coming to the tips for listening, how to improve. One is concentration is very important. So this concentration can come only with practice. You will find plenty of practice material. When you enroll with British Council for IELTS also, we send you a book, or there is a YouTube channel of British Council IELTS, and all over YouTube and all over the internet, there are plenty of practice sessions. So besides that, of course, you can watch English movies or news and so on. So it is important to concentrate, and that is something which will come only through practice. In a listening test, particularly, you are doing a lot of multitasking because you have to read the questions and quickly scribble the answers and also listen to the passage. So this multitasking again comes with practice. Now the questions can be tricky. Okay, for example, there may be a conversation between somebody who is buying a ticket, and then that person changes his mind. Instead of one station, he goes to another station. And then, the question may be about what amount he paid. So you have to kind of look for such tricks. It is very important to read the questions before you listen to the passage, okay, or listen to the recording. The questions follow the oral text. So in the very first part of the first recording, you will have the answer to the first question. And after that, the second, and so on. So it is not as if you have to read all 10 questions and then listen and start attempting the answers. So it will be in a chronological order, and it is the same order in which the recording is placed. Also, it is important that you attempt all the questions because there are no negative marks. So if by chance you have missed out on something, you can still kind of do some guesswork, because just in case if it is right, you will get marks. Right, so that was about listening, and now we come to reading. So reading section also has 40 questions. These are spread over 3 passages, okay? And all those passages are of general interest topics. You don't need any specialist knowledge, okay, of science or arts or whatever to be able to understand those passages. They are essentially to get to know about your English. So these are quite interesting passages. And again, the most important thing is you should practice. You can practice by reading newspapers. You can practice by reading anything. And of course, there are hundreds of practice tests across the internet, including on the British Council YouTube channel, British Council Facebook page, and the book. And also when you enroll with British Council, we will give you a login where there are a lot of practice questions also. So you basically, whether you can read for the main ideas or detail is what is tested, besides your inferences or implied meanings, whether you understand or not, and to recognize the writer's opinions, attitudes, and purpose. So reading section is for about 60 minutes. Right. So I will take you through a video talking about the tips for reading.
So, you've decided to take the IELTS exam. Great choice. It's the test that opens doors around the world. These are the key details of the IELTS reading test. The test includes 40 questions spread over 3 articles. You have a total of 60 minutes for the reading test. Unlike the IELTS listening, there is no additional time to transfer answers, so write these directly onto your answer sheet as you proceed through the test. Read the instructions very carefully. Be familiar with the different question types. Here's some advice to prepare for the reading test. Practice reading skills, such as skimming. Skimming means looking over an article or paragraph to identify the key themes or general ideas. This includes paying attention to titles, subtitles, keywords, and topic sentences. Scanning. Scanning is when you are looking for specific information, perhaps a number or a name or a date. If you know the specific type of answer you need to find, you don't need to read every word in the article. For example, if you know you need to find out how much money something costs, run your eyes quickly down the article, looking for a number with a currency indicator. Then decide if this is referring to what you were looking for. Skimming provides a bird's eye view of some material. Scanning helps you swoop down to locate the specific details you need. Another key skill is intensive reading. This helps you to understand the details in an article. When you practice reading tests, don't read an article intensively to start with. This is a common mistake. First, skim the article quickly. Get a sense for what the subject of the article is and look at the title, any headings or diagrams. Read the first sentence of each paragraph to determine the theme of each paragraph. Make notes around the article as you do this. Then, read with specific purpose. Read the questions and be clear what you are looking for. Once you have skimmed and scanned, you are prepared to analyze the questions carefully, circling keywords and thinking of synonyms for those keywords. Don't expect to find the exact same words in the article. Then, use your scanning and skimming skills to home in on the right paragraph in the article. Here, you'll need to read in detail to find the specific answer to each question. To improve your reading skills, read as much as you can. Anything you read in English is good practice, and the more variety, the better. There are no shortcuts or secret techniques. You will only improve with time, practice, and persistence. For more information on IELTS, please see our other videos on speaking, writing, and listening.
Right. So that was about reading tips. Okay. So now it is very important to know that reading is one section where you can run out of time. Okay. So if you are going to nicely read the whole passage and then go one by one to the questions to answer, you will run out of time. So it is important that you first read the questions. Okay. And as far as the passage is concerned, you skim through the passage. That is, maybe you look at the first line of every paragraph and you overall to get the gist of the overall article, what it is all about. Then go to the questions, read the first 2 questions, and then look for the specific answers. So looking at the questions first and then looking at the passage will help you save a lot of time and will help you accurately go to the right answer. This is what is called skimming and scanning, and that is important mainly from the time management viewpoint as well as the accuracy of your answers. Another thing is look for synonyms. Okay, so the question will not use the same word as it is in the passage. Okay, for example, if your passage says, say you have to be innovative. Okay, and the answer may give an option of being creative. So, innovative and creative in some way are synonyms, and that is the way you will be able to link. And similarly with all the questions. So, you will not be able to exactly get the same word in the questions as in the passage. So, look for synonyms. The answers are often required in a certain number of words. For example, answer in maximum 3 words or answer in 2 words. So you should not exceed that number of words, and you will get it wrong, okay? And you will lose precious marks. Here also, all the questions are in the chronological order. Okay, so in the first paragraph somewhere, you will find the answer to the first question and so on. Okay, so you don't have to read the whole passage to be able to answer all the questions. You will find them as you move on. Practice is very, very important, and I cannot overemphasize on that. You will get a lot of practice passages on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook, and the book that we provide, as well as in the login that we will give you. Besides, it is there all over the internet. Right, now listening and reading, which we have already covered, are the most scoring parts because they are objective type. Okay, so here it is a clerical marker who marks it, you get it right or you get it wrong. And there, if you practice, it will be very, very scoring. Writing and speaking are where the examiners are going to judge you. Okay, so there you may not be able to score as much as listening and reading. In fact, we have seen a lot of people get full 9 bands in listening and in reading. But writing, that is a bit tough. Okay, so coming to the writing section, you have task 1 and task 2. So in case of academic writing, the task 1 is a report that is based on a graph, table, or chart. So a table or a chart or a graph will be given, and you have to answer some questions, which are kind of subjective type questions. And in case of task 2, you have to write an essay, okay, of minimum 250 words. Right. General is slightly different. The task 1 is a kind of a semi-formal or a formal letter, but the task 2 is the same. There is an essay. Right. So here again in IELTS writing, what is important is that task 2 has 2/3 the weightage and task 1 has 1/3 the weightage. So you have got 60 minutes, so you should spend 40 minutes on task 2 and only around 20 minutes on task 1. Right? So basically what happens is some people, they spend a lot of time on task 1 and then they have a tough time in answering the task 2, while there are double the marks for task 2 compared to task 1, right? So you should keep this in mind. Task 2 is very, very important from a marks viewpoint. Read the questions carefully. So, there may be 2 or 3 or 4 sub questions to the main question, and you have to address each one of them. So if you miss out on some part of it, then again, you will lose precious marks. Be mindful of the assessment criteria. I'll come to that. Do not exceed the word limit too much. So you have to write the essay in 250 words. In minimum 250 words. So if you are writing it between 250 and 270, that is fine. But if you go on and write a 300-word essay or longer, first of all, the chances of making mistakes becomes higher once your essay becomes longer. And secondly, you will not be able to go through your answer again. You will not have the time. Okay, so it is better to write maybe 250 to 260 or 270 words maximum, and then go through it. Everybody, the first time they write an essay, they do make some mistakes, or there are always some areas of improvement. So it is better to improve your essay and go through it again and again rather than write a very long essay. You are not going to get more marks if you fill up the entire sheet and write a very long essay. As long as it is 250 words, beyond that, you don't get any additional marks for the quantity. Right. Planning for your writing is very, very important. How well your answer is structured is as important as the content or the quality of English that you are using. So I will explain to you that in greater detail. And in task 1, again, there are specific questions related to the graph, and please do not go beyond the scope of the question. So here is a quiz, okay? But before that, I will just take you through this structure. So in order to have a good essay, okay, you should have 3 parts to your essay. One is the introduction. Second is the body, which may consist of 2 to 3 paragraphs. And lastly, the conclusion. If you have this structure, that means, the examiner will understand that you have structured your answer well and you deserve decent marks. So now I'm going to ask you all a question, okay? So overall, you will have some main ideas. You will be restating your position. There will be supporting ideas. There will be some restatement of the topic, indication of your position, what stand you are taking, and lastly, summary of the views. Now, where will these come in? Okay, so in your chat box, you can put in your answers. Do you think, like, for example, 1A or 1B and 2C and so on? Can you just quickly provide some answers? Where do you think these things will appear? Right? I think some of you are already putting in your answers, right? Okay, thank you. Right. Okay, so plenty of answers. I'll just give the answer to the quiz, okay? Right. So as far as the structure is concerned, you should have an introduction, okay? In the introduction, you should restate your topic. So for example, the topic may be, should the government spend a lot of money on promoting sports? Okay, is it good or is it a waste of money or what? So you should restate the question in your own words, not in the words that are used, and indicate your position, whether you agree with it or you do not agree with it, and briefly stating why, okay? Then there should be the body where there are 2 or 3 paragraphs where you should give your main ideas and supporting ideas. So 1 idea per paragraph is ideal, okay? Because if you crowd a paragraph with too many ideas, again, you will not be able to express it in good English. So it's important to write good English and correct English. So maybe if you have 3 ideas as to why people should, let us say why the government should promote sports, okay? So you can say it improves physical fitness, overall development is important. Many students may be good at sports and not good at academics, or whatever, you may put your one idea in each paragraph. Lastly, in the conclusion, where you should actually write to sum up, or in conclusion, you should make it clear that it is a paragraph which is providing the conclusion, okay? So you should restate your position, okay, that yes, you agree, you disagree, and so on, and summarize your views briefly. So if you just use this structure, I can assure you that you will get decent marks for the structure itself. Of course, your English is important, your content is important, but the structuring is equally important, right? So now we come to the speaking section, okay? So like I said, speaking exam is a one-to-one exam with an examiner, okay? So the examiner may be sitting across the table with you. In some cases, we use a video call speaking where the examiner may be sitting somewhere else, but it is equally effective and it is the examiner is actually there. It is just that there is a Skype call or a Zoom call like this on which you are asked the questions. Okay, so again, I have a quiz here. Okay, these are statements 1 to 8. Not all of them are true. So can you please tell me which of these are true and which are false? For example, speaking test is 11 to 14 minutes. Yes, that is true. There are 4 parts to the test. Is that true or false? Can you just put into the chat box 1 true, 2 false, whatever you feel like. We will wait for again half a minute. Right, I can see many responses coming in. Okay. Right, so I will just come to the answers. So speaking test is for 11 to 14 minutes. That is true. There are 4 parts to the test. That is not true. There are 3 parts. You are given a pen and paper to make notes. Yes, that is true. So you can jot down your answer before speaking it out. So you will be given pen and paper. The second part is a monologue. Yes, that is very, very important. This monologue, which is for 2 full minutes, is an important part of the exam. You must cover all the bullets in part 2. Yes, that is true. A candidate is graded separately for each section. That is not true. You are given overall marks for your performance. Okay. It is a one-to-one test. Yes, absolutely true. And the first part is designed to put the speaker at ease. So the first part is just what's your name, where do you come from, and so on. Okay. So it is essentially to put you at ease. Right. So we come through, we have some more stuff about the speaking test. Right. So the part 1, which is for 4 to 5 minutes, is an introduction and an interview, okay, which is kind of brief. Part 2 is where you are expected to speak continuously for 2 full minutes. Okay, so you are given the card which contains the question, and you are allowed 1 minute to prepare. Mind you, 2 minutes is a lot of time. Most people, run out of ideas after 1 minute or so. But you must practice the speaking continuously for 2 minutes, and you should at the exam keep speaking until the examiner stops you. So some people get nervous that, oh, the examiner didn't let me speak beyond that. That is not the right thing. In fact, when examiner stops you, it is a good thing because you have spoken for the full allotted time. Okay. And the last section, which is a discussion where there are a lot of follow-up questions. So you are judged on your fluency and coherence. Okay. Coherence means how well you express your ideas. Lexical resources means your vocabulary. So if you use very simple words, then you will get low marks. But if you are using less common words, then you will get higher marks. However, you have to be very clear that the words that you use, you know their meaning and you are using them in the right context, right? Then there is grammatical range and accuracy. Again, the kind of sentences you make, if they are very simple, then you will get lower marks. But if they are slightly complex and how accurately those sentences are made will determine again whether you get higher band score or not. And lastly, about pronunciation. Okay. So as such, your accent does not matter. Whether you have a North Indian accent, South Indian accent, Gujarati accent, it does not matter. As long as the meaning of the word is not changed. Okay, so sometimes the pronunciation is such that the meaning itself changes, like say fill or feel. Okay, fill means you fill a hole and feel means your feelings. So, if that kind of pronunciation leads to a change of meaning itself, then you will lose marks. And in that sense, pronunciation is important. But you should not try and put on an accent or, particularly an artificial accent. You can be natural. And if a little bit of accent you have, that is perfectly fine. So about the speaking test, the only part that you can really practice is your introduction. So you should have clarity about what you are going to speak in your introduction. However, you should not by heart it and go. It should not sound very artificial. Some people kind of rattle out their introduction. That should not be the case. Okay, you should be natural and you should be at ease. So that is one part that you can practice and go. Listen to the question carefully. Okay, so sometimes people are in a hurry to answer, and without listening to the complete question, they answer something which may not be kind of correct. Avoid like monosyllabic or one word answers. Okay, sometimes they say, where do you live? And then you just say, I live in Surat. That's it. That is not correct. You should add one or two sentences to it. Okay, Surat is a city full of textile markets. Surat is a city full of diamond markets. Or you can say whatever, it is in South Gujarat, whatever you want to say. But you should not say only like, one word answers. Focus on all the bullet points of the question. So again, like I said, in the question, there may be 3 or 4 points and you must cover each one of them. Otherwise, the task is not complete. It is on task completion, you will lose marks. Okay, use a wide variety of vocabulary, but not informal or slang language. Okay, so don't use very informal. This is a formal exam and an academic exam, so you will have to use words which are meaningful and not just something which you use casually. Also use only English language words. Sometimes all of us tend to kind of mix Hindi and English, Gujarati and English and so on. That will be quite, quite bad and you will lose marks. So the wider range of vocabulary again should be in the correct context. Just because you know a word, you shouldn't use it. Only if it makes sense using it in that sentence, you must use it. And speak for the full 2 minutes. Use your imagination and make up a story. Okay. So like I said, speaking for 2 minutes is not going to be easy. So if you make up a story, you will be able to kind of show off your English and you will be able to speak for 2 full minutes. For example, you may be asked, let us say, describe your house. Okay, now if you give a very simple answer, I live in a 2-bedroom house and we have a nice kitchen, etc. It will like you will not be able to show off your English and you will run out of time. Means you will run out of ideas within half a minute. But if you make up a story, okay, that I have a beautiful balcony, from that I get lovely view of the Narmada River. We have a well-equipped kitchen where I cook so many things, etc., etc. And it is full of the cooking paraphernalia, etc., etc. You will be able to kind of use the words that are less frequently used, and you will be able to make more complex sentences also. So you can make up your story, you can freak out a bit. See, the accuracy of your answer, meaning in the sense that the accuracy of the information in your answer is not at all important. Okay, your English is all that is important. You can say anything, and the general knowledge part is not being tested at all. What is tested is your English and English only, right? And use tenses consistently. If you are answering in the past tense, then you can continue throughout in the past tense. You cannot suddenly go in the future and present and so on. So be consistent as far as your tenses are concerned. Right. So as you may be aware, we have computer delivered exams as well as the paper-based exams, though a majority of the students are preferring paper-based exams, but a lot of people are these days going for the computer delivered exams also. We conduct computer delivered exams in Gujarat, in Surat, Baroda, as well as Ahmedabad. So it is exactly the same exam in terms of level of difficulty, in terms of content and so on. It follows the same standards of IELTS. In fact, your TRF, the score that you get, the mark sheet, it does not state whether you've taken a computer delivered exam or a paper based exam. Okay, the preparation also can be on the same line, the result format is the same. The speaking test, even for CD, is a face-to-face test. Okay, it may be video call speaking or it may be face-to-face actual, but it is a face-to-face test. Okay. The only difference is that you get your results in 5 days instead of 13 days there. Okay, one or two other minor differences. One is that when you are writing the writing exam, the word count appears on the top. Okay, so the word count, you don't have to keep counting whether you completed your 250 words or not. So that is usually convenient. Secondly, the clock also appears on the top, so you know whether you completed your 60 minutes or how far you are on that. So those are some of the minor advantages, but as such, it is identical. A lot of working professionals who have lost the practice of writing on pen and paper, they prefer the computer delivered test, while today a majority of the people are still preferring the pen and paper, the paper-based test. Right. So, like I was saying, there is a lot of practice material available across the internet. We will provide you with a free practice book. You get 30 hours of free Road to IELTS. So once you enroll and you will get an email, you will get a login password for online practice tests, okay, which has a lot of interactive practice also, and a lot of videos also. So you can get practice via that from British Council. We have a YouTube channel. Go to British Council IELTS YouTube channel and you will see this practice sessions. Also, there is a MOOC, okay, in the sense this is a massive online course. It is a website called futurelearn.com, futurelearn.com. Okay, so futurelearn.com is a website on which British Council has put up some IELTS courses. These are complete courses and are free also completely. So you can go to these courses on futurelearn.com, and our Facebook page also has many quizzes and so on. Right then, so that brings to the end my presentation. I request you all to ask any questions related to IELTS that you may have. Thank you. Right.
Yeah. Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir.
I mean, few questions from the students' point of view.
Right, sir.
Yeah, the first question is, how many months of the preparation is needed if person listen Hollywood movies with English, UK and American US pronunciation, and writes and discuss essay-like topics once or twice a month, and speaks English on a daily basis to score more than 7 plus.
Right. So essentially, the amount of practice you do, it depends on the person concerned. Okay.
Yeah.
So some people may require more practice, some people may require less practice, but using English and speaking English in your day-to-day practice is very, very important until you get your IELTS score. So I would suggest that, wherever you go, or whether you are with your friends or with your teachers, try to speak in English. Okay, that will give you a lot of confidence. What happens is that some people are in coaching classes related to IELTS, and only in the coaching institute or in the college coaching, they speak in English, but outside they don't. So what happens is that that natural confidence of English does not come through, and that is where in the exam they sometimes suffer. Secondly, reading newspapers is very important. You get newspapers every single day, right? And of course, now the internet is full of content. Now, unfortunately, what happens is, thanks to WhatsApp, we are all exposed to too much of these WhatsApp messages, which is either video content, or there is a lot of bad language. People are all the time writing half sentences and so on. So that is okay on WhatsApp, but that kind of practice is not good for your IELTS score at all. So every single day I suggest that you read newspapers. Every single day you must try to watch either news channels or some exposure to YouTube English and so on. That will help you kind of naturally develop and speak or try to write. That kind of a thing will be important, and maybe you can give your friend to answer, or you can record your own answers. You will yourself be able to make out where you are making a mistake. Right. Thank you.
Sir, second question from one of the students from the university. Giving IELTS for the second attempt, like many other exams, there will be possibility to increase the number or scores, right?
Right.
With the same level of preparation for the first attempt, as the time person may be more comfortable with the exams. If the persons want to score more, if anybody score the lower band, so giving IELTS for the second attempt, like many other exams, would be beneficiary or not? This is the question.
Okay, got it. Yeah. See, you can take IELTS as many times as you want. Okay.
Yeah.
And the university or wherever you are applying for admission does not know whether it is your first attempt or second or third and so on. Okay. So that is perfectly fine, but it is better to prepare as much as possible and go, rather than take one attempt for practice and then take the second attempt. So put in your best efforts in your very first attempt, and it is not a very difficult exam, mind you. If you are practicing well enough, it is just a language exam, and if you practice well enough, there is a good possibility of getting the required score in your first attempt also. As such, we conduct the IELTS 4 times every month. Okay, and that is the pen and paper, plus every Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Surat in the computer delivered test. So you can take as many attempts as you want. That is not an issue at all. But it is best to prepare well and then go for it, rather than keep taking more and more attempts. Right.
Okay. Yeah. Sir, as you are aware of that, in university system, the first year students also somehow connected, and those who are in the last semester or year, they are also connected with this program, or they are watching with the other social media platform also. One of the, I think from the patient, one of the students who has asked, what are the best source to practice listening and reading for the person who is going to give exam after 2 to 3 years, but wants to learn little by little every day?
Right,
Sir, your
right.
tip, please.
Okay. So see, the best way to get a higher score in IELTS is to improve your English, right? So do everything that will help you improve your English. You may read novels, you may read newspapers, you may try to speak even with your family members, or if you're going to a bank, you are going to a restaurant, try to interact in English with people. Okay, that will give you a lot of confidence. Also, there is a lot of practice material that is available across the internet. There are many YouTube channels, including the British Council YouTube channel. So you can regularly watch those also. And as far as, for example, speaking practice is concerned, everybody has a mobile phone. You can record your answers. Let us say you come across a question on the internet, you record your full answer and listen to it yourself, and you will be able to judge. Or maybe two friends can judge each other. So that is something which is there. We will be happy to even help your university start conducting IELTS courses, and we can possibly invite your trainers to train. So that can also be done. Of course, there are a large number of coaching classes across Surat, Navsari, and across South Gujarat who also conduct coaching classes. But you can practice via the internet. And like I said, even this course that is available on futurelearn.com is a very useful course, right? So finally, it is about improving your English and practicing each one of the four skills that are required, right?
I think few what not many questions, but basic questions, whatever may be related to IELTS, that I have asked on behalf of the students.
So yeah, one or two things I would like to add. A lot of people ask whether computer delivered is better or paper based is better.
Yeah.
Now, that is entirely dependent on you. As I said, the level of difficulty and all is exactly the same. For a lot of students who are not very comfortable with the keyboard and all, then they may go for paper-based. But these days, particularly working professionals, they have lost practice of writing long essays on paper. So they prefer computer-delivered IELTS. Plus, we provide you with the word count of your writing online, and also the time is given out there. So all these things, sometimes some people who take computer delivered are finding that a lot easier, means lot more convenient, not really easier, but convenient compared to paper based. So you may look at that option also if you are comfortable with the keyboard.
Sir, I am really happy that in IELTS, this is the first time I think students will be aware of that there is a general purpose also is there and academic purpose also is there. But otherwise, the common people understand IELTS means common one exam, but slightly it is differ. That you have mentioned, it is really a very beautiful and tips to the students accordingly so that they can prepare themselves. The first section in listening section, the most important part you have mentioned, that is the concentration is important, and it comes to the practice. In reading section, skimming and scanning, very beautifully you have explained it. Intensive reading, and the most important part is the time management as far as IELTS exam is concerned. In writing section, the 2 point that is very crucial, and that is the don't exceed word limit too much. मतलब 150 लोगों की अगर 150 words में if you have to explain, there is no need you have to write at 200 or 200 plus.
Right.
And the most important is proofreading. Normally we do that mistakes whenever we are writing, and ultimately that's decrease the score.
Right. Yeah.
And the last, another thing is you have mentioned very tactfully introduction, body, and conclusion. When you are writing any on topic, very precisely, specifically, you have explained very well. It's very learning process for each and everyone even nowadays. When the MCQ exam is on a fingertip, in such situation, students have to write. They have to express their feelings. They have to express their thoughts with precisely, specifically. It is very important. And in speaking section, the most important part is pronunciation, that you have more emphasis as far as pronunciation is concerned. I'm really happy and thanks. Son, one more suggestion from your side, that is that you have shown interest that you want to start with the help of the university IELTS program or coaching center over here at university for the entire South Gujarat region. Sir, definitely we will think over it and we'll discuss with our higher authorities on behalf of you as well as us, because we are not the final authority. We have to propose it, and definitely we will discuss with them and we'll get back to you. Sir, but the way you have mentioned entire IELTS exams preparation, it's really a wonderful and useful to society or our university students, because these, why I am using word society, sir, because it's live on YouTube, Facebook and Instagram as well as Twitter too. In these situations, I think there will be possibility with other social media platform, many people or students are joined over here. The data is not like right now we have, but it is sure. The record is every day whenever doing such kind of career counseling webinar, more than 2,000 to 2,000 students are viewing it and they are taking benefit from it. So once again, I am very, very thankful to our Vice Chancellor, who visionary and really want to help our university students, those who want to go abroad for the higher studies, and the most important part is IELTS exam. And really, this webinar will helpful them in preparation of IELTS exam. Once again, I am very thankful to our registrar, those who have ready to provide such infrastructure and platform immediately. Okay, go ahead. Finally, I am very much thankful, Rajesh Bojani ji, your this delivery of your IELTS orientation under the webinar. And sir, one more question from my side. This is the IELTS exam. I am fully aware of that in certain part of the country, IELTS is working and other area is TOEFL is working. But is it possible? Can you deliver or can you give an idea in TOEFL exam also or orientation? Is
No,
it
sir,
possible?
Sir, at British Council, we conduct only the IELTS exam.
Okay.
And also, these days, maybe 90%
because
or more.
why, sir, sorry, because this is the question derived from the students' point of view, sir. Is it possible? Can you arrange for the TOEFL also?
See, today 90% of the candidates are preferring IELTS exam.
Yeah.
So there are very few people who are taking other exams. We at British Council conduct the IELTS exam. So we are not authorized to talk about other exams. Yeah, right.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Now, once again, thank you so much, Bojani ji, Gadiwali ji or Gadiwal, I think.
Gadiwala.
And David and Mr. David,
right.
Those who have contributed a lot and helped to University Coordinator Thakur Sahab to arrange such webinar in a fruitful way. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you very much, sir. And thanks for inviting me and all of us and inviting British Council. Thanks to Veer Narmad, South Gujarat University, all the officials. And we look forward to doing more of this for your students. Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.